I'm Mike, the property tax guy. And the last housing crash, over 10,000 Americans lost their home. Some say history won't repeat. Others see warning signs already. And some are hopeful. These are their stories.
Housing market going to crash. I don't think it's going to crash, but I do think we're stuck. Because if you bought a house between 2010 and 2020, let's say your loan amount is $200,000, you refinanced during the pandemic for 3%. That 3% on 200K over 30 years is only going to cost you a little over $100,000 in interest, which is a steal. And if that person, even in the past 5 years, if they gained $150,000 to $200,000 of equity and they upgrade to a new house and they get out a $400,000 loan today at 7%, it's going to be over $550,000 of interest. So who's going to trade $100K interest for $550,000 of interest? That is a huge L. Then you have people like me and my wife who bought in 2022. So anyone who bought from 2022 to 2025, we're also stuck because our housing prices didn't go up. So if we sell, we would actually break even or maybe even lose money. So we would take an L and we can't move. Then we thought, well, why don't we rent our house out and then we can go buy another house? But our mortgage is $2,900 and we can only rent our house for $2,200, $2,300. So we would lose.
And that's where I want to stop right there. Now, there are a lot of people, I've seen a news report where a lot of people are becoming accidental landlords. And when you become an accidental landlord, you bought your house between that 20, I wouldn't say 2020, but I would say 2021 and 2025. Because in 2020, interest rates were through the roof, like through the roof in a good way, or through the basement. I don't know. But we're down. You know what I'm saying? Like you can buy at I got my home at a 2 point something interest rate due to the pandemic, right? But the thing about it is you have to look at it from this whole tapestry. You bought your house between 2022 and 2025 and the interest rates are out of this world. So a lot of people are becoming accidental landlords, which is the new support that I've seen. So if the average market rent right now is $2,200, you can rent your house for $2,200, but your mortgage payment is $2,700. Who's winning in that situation? Obviously, you, not you, as the person that owns the house. So there's no point of even renting the house, because if you're renting, you're paying more. You're being more inconvenienced because you're having somebody live there. They only can pay $2,200, but that's the market rent. You can't go high because it doesn't make sense if you go that high. And then you got to pay the $700. So at the end of the day, you're paying a portion of your mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Because they're paying the $2,200 and you're paying that $700, which is a $2,900 total for your mortgage. But you're still not, you're covering it, but you're still supposed to be adding to that as well, because you still got to cover for taxes and insurance. Now, this is just FYI, this is just as somebody that's a landlord, that the expenses they have to look at. But when it comes down to the actual person, the average everyday person, and they bought their house between that 2022 and 2025, the best thing I can say is to look for that refinance rate when the interest rates drop, or the pay. And I feel like the best goal really should be just to pay that thing off, pay that house off, because that interest rate is crazy. And the right time maybe for you may not have been in 2020, and may have been in 2022 or 2023 when you had the resources and the funds to buy a home. So like I said, everybody's situation is different. Always pray, prepare, and plan. I always say that. And I get kind of upset and I get kind of down because I don't want people going through the whole rigmarole and just having to go through that process, you know what I'm saying, that and don't and becoming accidental landlords because they can't afford it now. They want to uproot themselves and live from that, but they feel stuck. They feel stuck in between a rock and a hard place. But I think times are changing. People say it's going to get worse. I think things are actually going to get better, and we'll see from here. We'll see.
There. So we're stuck. We literally can't move unless we want to take a 50K punch in the face. And then you have the sellers who have to move for work or whatever else is going on in life. They can't find a buyer because houses are $400,000 or $500,000 and you need $150,000 to $200,000 to comfortably afford a house in today's market. So everyone is stuck. The only people who might actually win right now is if you're someone who's making a really high salary, you have a good savings, very low debt, and you can buy a house right now, because you might actually be able to get a good price and you might even get some of your closing costs covered. So if you're in that situation, I would take a look at what's going on in the market. I would talk to an agent in your area, talk to a lender, go to your local bank, or you can go over to my profile, talk to my preferred lender. They work in 49 states.
And I'm gonna stop it right there. So pretty much what I'm saying is that pray, prepare, plan, know what's best for you, know what's good for you. We're gonna go into the next video, but I definitely wanted to share that and let you know, like, if you bought that house between that 2021 and 2025 with the high interest rates that's going on, and then interest rates as of today, at the recording of this video, I'm recording this video September 20 of 2025, interest rates have been cut 0.25%. So it may be good for you. Maybe a time for you to refinance. Maybe not. Maybe you want to wait a little longer. I think interest rates are going to get cut again, so I think you should wait a little longer. That's just my personal opinion. So let's move on to the next one and see what they have to say.
Real estate market has shifted, and here's how I know how. This month, I've had 3 sellers come back to me, sellers that I've made offers on their houses months ago that were too low, and they called me asking me if my offer was still good. And you want to know what I had to tell every single one? It's not. My offer's $25,000 less. Now, 2 of them told me to go F myself, but I have a feeling they'll be back, and one of them had to come down. The real estate market.
I think that's the thing too. Like I said before in the real estate market video, like a lot of these prices are coming down because of the real estate market right now in 2025. Like the last guy just spoke, like the interest rates are high right now. People are stuck between a rock and a hard place. So a lot of people, like even that individual before, like what he was saying, he's trying to recoup on the money because of the interest that he's going to have to pay. So he's trying to get out of it. And there are some people that's like, look, I know you probably in a bad situation, but your situation ain't got nothing to do with my situation. My situation can't become your situation. So I'm not going to pay more because you got to pay more. Just make this make sense. We got to be able to work together. We got to be able to have a plan. We got to be able to have a plan of attack. I'm going to do what's in the best interest for me. You're going to do what's in the best interest for you. I can't pay more in your interest. I can't pay more of your taxes. I can't pay more of your insurance or whatever you got to pay. I'm only going to pay what I'm willing to pay as a buyer. And the seller saying, hey, okay, sellers got to be realistic, but let them know, like, look, I made a bad decision buying it at this time because I thought I could afford it, but obviously I can't. I didn't think things were going to get better because I bought my home out of fear of missing out instead of at preparing, planning, and praying and doing the right thing I'm supposed to do before I buy the house. And I made a bad decision. Now some people be like, look, I made a good decision at that time because I had the funds and resources, the savings, the house paid off, whatever. I mean, or half of it off, or a good chunk of it, whatever. And that worked out for them. It don't work the same for everybody else. So at the end of the day, like I said, sellers gonna have to bring their prices down. The real estate market is a mess right now. It's shifting. It's a tug of war going on.
Good afternoon. If you've been waiting to buy a house, you've been on the sideline for purchasing your own property, whether by force, due to affordability, supply, or frankly, just been waiting for a better market, I have news for you. Now, recently, if you pay attention to the economy and especially the Federal Reserve and the back and forth cattiness that has been happening between the executive branch, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and Jerome Powell, the Fed Reserve chair, you've been missing out because the drama's it's been good. I mean, clock it, as the kids say, right? Right, kids? Jerome Powell has been called a numbskull, a moron, a financial criminal by J.D. Vance, and a slew of other items. They're calling him Too Late Powell. He's far too late as always. I call him Too Late Powell. That's what he calls him now. And through truths or X's or I don't know which Truth Social posts, he has called Jerome Powell left and right everything except a good person. What he's been saying is you're too late to fix our economy. Rates need to get cut by 1%, 2%, maybe more to put rocket fuel, as he stated. I'll put the little thing up. Put rocket fuel in the economy. The White House press secretary recently releasing even a note that was sent to Jerome from Donald. Here's his little note, a signature. I can't really read his name out of it, but regardless, saying all the other countries that have lower rates than us. What does this mean for you? What it means, put it in your calendar. May 2026, probably a month before because investors will start to price it in. Rates are going to drop for the next year. What is it? How long is this term? 6 years, really, probably after that. The age of easy money is returning. And let me tell you exactly why. A man by the name of Scott Bessent is going to be appointed to the Federal Reserve Chair position by Donald Trump and is an executive appointed position. May 2026. Why? Because that's when Jerome Powell's term ends. Now, Trump has been pushing him to resign. I've watched every forum and every Fed meeting for years that this man has been on. I can tell you the last thing on Jerome's mind is what Donald truths about him. He's a whatever you want to call him, a puppeteer, a placed person. He's a central banker made into the head central banker. He used to be a hedge fund manager.
And I've been letting this go for a while, but one thing I want to say, as of September 20th, 2025, the recording of this video, as of September 17th or 18th, I believe the Fed's Jerome Powell did cut it by 0.25%. Him and Trump made up a little bit, but Trump still feel how he feel about him. We all know. But the thing is that May 2026. I'm hoping, and a lot of people are hoping that the rates do get dropped. My personal belief, I don't think you should wait for, you know, finances to get better before you fix the major heart of the economy first. It's like I need to fix all. I need to. To me, it just feels like I need to make sure that my hair is cut. I got to make sure my fingernails is trimmed when it comes to the economy, instead of fixing the core root of it first, which is the interest rate, which is the heart. If the heart ain't pumping and nothing's working with the heart, if none of this other stuff with our body matters. And that's pretty much, I just put it in that term, in layman's terms, like that. Like I feel like if you fixing all these extracurricular exterior things, but you're not working at the core root of it, which is the interest rate, nothing else matters. They're waiting for inflation to drop. They're waiting for, housing prices and this, that, and the third. But nobody's not going to do anything until the interest rates drop. You guys are the heart of the economy. That's personally how I believe. I'm not an economist. I work in finance, but I'm not an economist. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And so if you want to buy a home, look, you just keep an eye on the interest rate, pray, prepare, plan. Your time it may be today, your time it may not be today. Your time may be 5 years from now, may not. But when is your time, it will be your time. There's a lot going on in the federal government right now, as we know, and we're gonna be able to look at and get these houses lowered. Hopefully, people need to bring their prices down, bring their values down, because we're going to a buyer's market. But imagine being in a buyer's market and low interest rates. Man, that got to be heaven right there. Get ready, prepare. I think everybody should just get ready now. Start saving your money, because it's going to be a big boom in the economy in the next couple of years. I know everybody looking at everything going on right now, and I made a video about how things are going on right now, but it gets worse before it gets better. And we just went through worse. We went through worse the last 3 4 years. We went through worse sometimes still now to an extent, and it's getting better. So get ready. It's coming. But I go by the name Mike, the property tax guy from MTG Real Estate Services. Have a blessed day.